Rip, I think we need a little divine inspiration, LSD, for this episode. Welcome back to the funniest movie ever. Today, it's The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Hey, Mom! The meatloaf! We want it now!
Ask me about my wiener!
Would you like to have a suckle of my zipper? Like Perfect 10?
Cool beans. Cool beans.
And you never once paid for drugs.
Yeah, Jamie!
We want a shrubbery!
Slippy, slappy, swimming, Swanson?
I'm a peacock! You gotta let me fly! Shut up!
But first, Rip, how are you? What's new? And what are you watching?
I'm good, chaps. It's nice to finally sit back and enjoy the movie without, having to make notes and do research. And, I work so hard.
I feel like you're coming out of the gate hot with some backhanded takes here, trying to make me feel bad about not doing your work last week.
I'm not trying to make you feel bad so much as just build myself up. The last thing I watched is The Nice Guys. And I feel like you're going to give me shit about this.
I'm not going to give you shit about this.
Because
I like that movie.
I know you like it, but you know that I don't like things people like.
Yes.
Which is a very misunderstood take.
Explain yourself.
Okay, don't get me wrong, I'm a bit of a contrarian, and I get a little annoyed when things get, overrated from being previously underrated.
So hold on. For the audience, he gets annoyed when people enjoy movies.
That's one way of looking at it. So this was my first rewatch, and I remember watching it back when it came out around 2016.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I'd never even heard of it, and to be honest, I'm not sure how I stumbled upon it. But I do remember being blown away.
Right.
Such a nice little hidden gem I found, Then in the more recent years, this movie has gone from being an underrated hidden gem to an overdiscussed Reddit circle jerk, if I'm being honest. So naturally, the contrarian in me...
Maybe you just spend too much time on Reddit.
I mean, probably. I have a boring day job. You're not wrong. But yeah, once something becomes overdiscussed and overrated, naturally you want to dig your heels in, right? Is that just me?
I mean, it depends though. I get where you're coming from in one regard, but you say you want to dig your heels in. What's so you liked the movie the first time,
and
now that everyone's talking about it and also enjoying it, I don't understand why you then need to dig your heels in and be like, no, it's actually not as good as you guys make it out to be.
Because it's every single person who brings it up thinks that they're sharing a hidden gem that they have found.
Oh, okay.
And it's shut the fuck up. You have eyes. You are like me, and you also scroll the internet endlessly. You have seen this movie.
So I think what I'm finding is it's a bit of what is that phrase from? I forget what it's from, but a bit of stolen valor. You think people
you
are
know what? That is the best way of putting it. Yes.
Are acting like they found this movie and are bringing it to the world.
That is, yeah.
I can see being angry with that.
You have articulated it better than I have in the decade it has taken me to get this out. So thank you.
That's fair. I'm starting to see a bit of where you're coming from now.
Now that said, I was wrong, and I can admit that because this movie is fucking awesome.
Yeah. See, it's funny that you say that because my partner and I watched this semi-recently, maybe last year. And I remember liking it way better the first time I saw it. And this time on rewatch, I was kind of bored, I think. And maybe that's just because I did watch it a bunch of times after it came out and I really enjoyed it and stuff. So maybe I was just I've seen it too many times.
The first thing I want to ask you is how long of a gap between viewings? Because for me, it was actually 7-8 years,
yeah.
Right?
For me, it wasn't that long at all, probably. For my partner, she had never seen it before. And this is one of those movies where I got caught overhyping it and it didn't, I don't think it lived up to it.
I have nothing to say about that. I'm not even going to, no, I'm just going to leave it at that. Anyway, no, this movie's fucking awesome. Shane Black is great, which is, that should have been my first sign. Big Shane Black fan, other than, Iron Man 3, I think he did.
Yeah. Not the best of the Iron Mans.
Whelming. Crow and Gosling, great chemistry. I can't remember her name, but the daughter, Gosling's daughter in it, she's going fucking toe-to-toe with
really
Gosling
funny.
and Crow. She's so good. And then, of course, I've mentioned it during our discussion of The Studio.
Right.
I love a Hollywood circle jerk. I do.
Yeah, and that's
this
what
is a 1970s backdrop, in Hollywood. It's so good, right? The costumes are always so fun. The setting is, I don't know, something magical about it, right?
Gosling also just does a really good job of playing that sort of for me, it's really miraculous that he's able to do this because he's so goddamn good looking and doesn't look like an average person at all. But he plays a really good average guy for some reason. You know what I mean? He's just he can't catch a break and he's pissed off about everything. And is there I can't remember what part it is, like his arm's broken half the movie, and he's got the cast on, and like he's got the sleeve rolled up over it. He just looks the part so well of like an everyman.
He's a good actor.
Yeah, it's good.
I think that's what it comes down to. Other than that, you'll like this one, and I'm curious if actually you've seen this. I downloaded the movie Twins.
You downloaded?
Well, I was catching a plane, so I was like, "Oh, sick! I'll watch Twins on the plane."
Gotcha.
Because it seems like a good plane movie.
Twins is the Danny DeVito, Arnold Schwarzenegger
It
one?
is, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting in the airport lounge. I'm talking to my dad about this, and he just asked me like, "Oh, like what are you gonna watch on the plane?" And I'm like, "Twins. Have you seen it? Because you're also old as fuck." And the guy across from me answered on behalf of my dad, and he couldn't wait to be like, "I've seen it."
He just wants someone to talk to. He's been sitting in the airport all day on layover.
Like 1,000%. And it's funny because I distinctly remember like Big Dad vibes because he had the exact same running shoes as my dad.
Right. Were they like, either Sauconys or New Balances?
They're actually the kind of Under Armour shoes that you know were on discount at Costco.
Yeah. They're not like real Under Armour shoes. They're
But they
from
had
Walmart.
the logo, but like they're not the real kind. But like somehow they are. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, this guy was like fucking pumped that I was talking about Twins.
That's
and I
pretty
didn't have the
funny.
heart to tell him like, I'm probably not going to watch it because I have to watch this movie.
Did you end up watching it though?
I didn't end up watching it.
Oh,
no.
okay. So you just want to talk. Okay, that's a fun little story though. I like that.
Yeah.
Interesting that this guy is just like, yeah, let's like.
He
He's
could
been
not wait.
waiting to talk about Twins with somebody his entire life.
Yeah. 100%, right? All right, top that. Tell me what you're watching.
It's been a bit of a light week for me with movies. I haven't really caught anything other than the one we watched for this week's episode. But there's been some TV that I've been catching up on. Daredevil Born Again, which I think has been a really nice reintroduction to Marvel TV. Like it's better than everything that they've released in the last 5 years already. And that's including like WandaVision to me. It was really well done. And it just makes me excited for more Daredevil. I think it's a really interesting character, and all the actors are great in it. Like, I can't pronounce his last name, but Vincent D'Onofrio, who plays Kingpin, fantastic. And you got John Barenthal as Punisher. Just a great cast all around.
So, as someone who doesn't really like follow like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they've done a Daredevil before, right? And I don't mean the Ben Affleck one. Like there was a show, right? And then did it get canceled, or is this
that
just
was
a
the
renewal?
Netflix show?
Okay,
that was the Netflix show, and then it had 3 seasons, and then all the like Marvel bought more properties and stuff like that, and now they've brought it under their own roof. And it's a continuation.
So is it the same actor?
Yeah, same actor as
okay,
Daredevil.
nice.
I can't Charlie Cox.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, same actor as Daredevil, and it picks up after the events of season 3 of the Netflix Daredevil show. And I mean, I think there's like a couple of shows in between that people watch, like Echo or those other ones that came out that weren't the greatest. But yeah, so it's been good. It just wrapped last night was the season finale, and as far as season finales go, I was like, okay, it didn't really land for me because they're kind of setting up the next part, and like I'm like, I hate when shows kind of do that. Like, give me like a definitive ending to this first season, and then do the launch pad as like your last little 10 minutes or whatever, right?
Especially now because everything gets canceled.
Yeah, it's like,
am
I going to see what the buildup is? Because there's a massive buildup, and I'm psyched for it. Like, it's really cool, but like it's one of those like, it's like, wow, I just watched 9 episodes and it felt like for what almost. Meanwhile, those 9 episodes were pretty good too. So yeah, take what you can get, right? And then The Last of Us season 2 started up on Sunday, so I caught that. Yeah,
I saw that. I'm not watching it, but our boy Pedro, right?
Yeah, Pedro.
There we go.
Yeah, he ties right in with this movie. So like I said, light week for movies for me. I mean, The Masters was on this past weekend, so it was a lot of golf, a lot of sitting on the couch doing absolutely nothing, watching that.
I mean, that's going to be me moving forward now with Stanley Cup playoffs.
Playoffs are starting up.
Yeah.
Yep. Alrighty. If you want to see more of what we're watching and our reviews, check us out on Letterboxd. You can find me at The Chappening. And Rip, where can we find you?
That's Rip from the pod, all one word. Rip, RIPP, from the pod.
I like that. Yes. Very good. Okay, before we break, Adam, can you tell us what category our movie is from today?
People want the new.
The new.
The new. They want that new.
Perfect. When we're back, we're diving into the unbearable weight of massive talent.
What's the worry here, Nick? You've lost some of your talent as an actor?
No. What did he say?
He says he loves you, but he went in a different direction.
I'm done. I'm quitting acting. Tell the trades, it was a tremendous honor to be a part of storytelling and myth-making.
Ah, fuck, man, I'm driving through the hills. I'm sorry. One more time?
We got another offer. It's $1 million. It's to attend a wealthy gentleman's birthday party.
I would never do that.
It's the easiest gig ever. You play yourself.
What do we know about this guy anyway? Is he into something strange?
It's not like he's gonna want you to suck his dick or fuck his wife or watch you watch him fuck his wife.
I wouldn't think so.
Welcome to Mallorca, Mr. Cage.
The guy that owns this house, what's his name?
Javi.
Is Javi gonna want me to,
I am Javi.
Nick Cage. God, this place is stunning.
What is your favorite movie?
That's one of those questions that's impossible to answer. You can't just limit it to one.
Imagine me and you, I do.
Is it too much?
Is this supposed to be me? It's grotesque. I'll give you 20,000 for it.
Alrighty, we're back. The George format for today will be a little bit of discussion over the cast, the writers, the director. Then we'll set up sort of, a discussion around Nick Cage and Pedro Pascal. And then we'll dive right into the movie, covering all of the funny, have some discussions about it. And then we'll wrap things up with some funniest scenes, MVC, and our head-to-head before getting into our writer's room segment. Okay, Rip, are you ready for this movie?
I'm ready.
Okay, so comes out April 22nd, 2022. We're pretty close to, the 3-year anniversary of this movie kind of thing. It had a budget of $30 million. Unfortunately, its box office, they only made 29.1, so didn't make back all of the money, which is kind of disappointing because it's a good movie. I think it deserves more than that. The reviews from all the big sites, mostly positive across the board. Like everybody on Just Watch has got like an 87%. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's got like 86. And that's like an 86 from the critics and the audience. So everyone was really enjoying this movie. The director is Tom Gormican. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but he's known for writing and directing That Awkward Moment, which came out in 2014. That's a Miles Teller flick. And then he also wrote Beverly Hills Cop, Axel F., which I haven't seen. That's the Netflix reboot of that. The writers are Tom Gormican and Kevin Eaton. Do you know?
Either way is fine.
Either way is fine. So Kevin Eaton or Eaton is known for producing a lot of shows. He's mainly a producer on shows like Scrubs, Workaholics, and he's also credited with a few writer credits on episodes from both those shows. I think he did a couple in Scrubs and a couple in Workaholics.
Right on.
I think this movie is his big claim to fame, and there's a history of the script to discuss here. This is an interesting one of how it gets made, because it was sort of like floating around on the blacklist for a while, which is like that. It's the Hollywood equivalent of like, hey, just post your scripts here and people will read them kind of thing, right? I think you actually introduced me to the script. Like you said, you had read it before seeing it. Do you want to elaborate a little bit on the mythos of this screenplay?
Yeah, I'm not actually sure if it's the hosting blacklist, one that you're talking about, or if it's just the annual blacklist, which is an annual list with spec scripts. So I guess I may be butchering this, but I believe it's all like agents and managers in Hollywood, or not all, but I guess a select few are basically pulled what they think the hottest spec scripts are at the time. And then that annual list goes out and it has, like 17 agents recommended this one. And that's number one. And I think there's usually about 20 or so. Mm-hmm. So this one, I don't believe it was number one, but it was definitely on that list. I remember finding it because at the time I was writing my own script similar to this. I had an idea for an Adam Sandler meta movie. Yeah. Me at the time thinking that I'm hot shit and that I know, oh my God, this is like the smartest idea ever. Meanwhile, like Being John Malkovich has been out since 1999. Yeah. But no, I remember reading the script. And again, I think because it was 2019 or maybe 2020. I want to say maybe I read it during the pandemic. But it was awesome, man. Like it's, if you have a chance, like actually go read it. I know we talk about the scripts all the time during this, and we make jokes about what's written. Like, is Steve Carell writing that he has a boner in the script, right? Unfortunately, there's no boner jokes in this movie, so I can't tell you if that's a real thing. Lack of boner jokes
in this movie.
But the script itself is really good, and we'll get into it a little later with casting, because at the time, I don't think this was picked up. I don't think it was even announced that it was going into production. I think it was literally just a spec script. So part of the fun for me was kind of like imagining, who would play everybody but Nicolas Cage, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah. So that's an interesting thing too, because I was reading an article from the LA Times. We'll link to it in the show notes. That Gormican and Eaton, they wrote this script together because they both have a really big love for Nicolas Cage. So they're like, hey, let's get together and do any of these things that kind of like goes through his filmography and like admires him in a way, right? And they kind of shared with their friend, like, here's the spec script we're working on. And the quote is, one of our friends said, as a purely business decision, this is one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. But he goes on to say it's a one-shot deal, and if he doesn't do it, you've got a pile of garbage on your table, right? So that's kind of what he's getting at. Like, if Cage doesn't sign on, you've just wasted your time writing the script kind of thing. Initially, Cage does turn it down because he thought it was going to be more like an SNL mockery rather than that sort of admiration that Gormican was talking about. And he actually wrote to Cage explaining that, which opened Nicolas Cage up to that idea, up to this idea that he's not playing Nicolas Cage, he's playing Nick Cage. So they've fabricated this character. They draw on personal knowledge of him, and they really more so lean into his movie sort of, what would you call it? His movie persona, like who he is in the movies, rather than his personal life, and that's where everything comes from. And obviously, there's certain aspects of the character that are drawn directly from his life, but they tweak everything else, and that's what got Nick Cage on board, and he was really like anxious to do it at first. Like, he didn't want to fuck up playing himself, which is really interesting.
Or look like a joke, I guess, right? I mean,
yeah, exactly.
He doesn't want to be the butt end of the joke, right? Which he's not. I don't think so.
I think when you watch this movie, it really is just like Nick Cage has had such a long career where it's had the ups and downs. We'll get into it later, but like it really does, like, you know, champion his best moments. And I think that's what this movie's about. All right, let's quickly go over the cast, and then we'll have a little talk about Nick Cage and Pedro Pascal. So the cast includes, as we said, Nick Cage, Pedro Pascal, and then they're joined by Sharon Horgan, Lily Mosheen, Ike Barinholtz, Tiffany Haddish, and Paco Leon, who plays Lucas, Pedro's cousin. Let's talk the dichotomy of Cage and Pascal. I think there's a really interesting relationship here because, you know, you think about Nick Cage, we both love, I mean, I love Cage. I think you love Cage too. I'm a big fan of his movies like The Rock, Con Air, National Treasure. But at this stage of his career, he's really become a meme. Everyone, like, they're all over reels making fun of him. And it's led to him sort of taking these really interesting, like, indie roles in movies like Pig, Dream Scenario, and Long Legs, like he's in a horror movie. So I just want to know, like, what are you thinking? Like, what's your relationship with Cage? How do you feel about him? You know, what do you love? Tell me.
I'm honestly surprised you say, I'm not sure how you feel, because you definitely know how I feel. I've been a huge Cage fan, like, since high school. Like, that was my thing, I think, in high school. Like, people knew that I was a big Nick Cage fan.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I feel like a lot of his mainstream, like, dad movies I hadn't even seen at the time. Like, I feel like a lot of my love just comes from National Treasure.
Oh, dude, National Treasure is like did you have a National Treasure poster? I feel like I remember you having a National Treasure poster.
Maybe. One thing that really stands out to me that kind of like delivers my point is I remember I had a friend in high school and she was traveling in Prague at the time.
Right.
I don't know if she was on vacation with her family or whatever. But somebody had hand drawn, like, in Sharpie, Nicolas Cage on like a fucking brick wall. And she sent a picture of it to me and was like, "This is." I immediately thought of you. Like, this is Nick Cage.
I love that. So it's interesting because then on the flip side, you have Pedro Pascal, who's like complete hot shit in Hollywood right now. So it's like it sort of mirrors like Nick Cage in a way. Like, his early career, he was hot shit in Hollywood, and now he's gone downhill, and he's playing this sort of like washed up version of himself. Pedro Pascal, one of the biggest stars we have right now. I think a lot of people get introduced to him as like Oberyn Martell in Game of Thrones or in Narcos. He's done stuff before that, but like I think those are the two big roles that sort of like they just launch him off, because now he's in Mandalorian, he's the star of The Last of Us, Gladiator 2, Wild Robot. He's going to be Reed Richards in Fantastic Four. Those are just the big ones too, and there's like small parts all over the place. I think you've mentioned to me before that you didn't think he was right for the role. I'm just curious, like why you thought that was at first.
Yeah, so I mean, to be honest, this was my introduction to Pedro Pascal, because I was never a Game of Thrones guy.
Right.
I didn't watch Narcos. I didn't think he was right for the role at first because I didn't know who he was.
Fair.
Like, when I was reading the spec script, he's not at all what I envisioned. And I think it's because maybe in the spec, he seems a little more bumbling in it.
Right.
So my initial impression of him was somebody closer to, like, I don't know. I guess if we're saying Pedro Pascal, Pedro from like Napoleon Dynamite is the first Pedro that comes to mind. You know what I mean? Someone who's just kind of there to support the main actor, right?
Right.
But on the flip side, he's not supporting Cage. I mean, he's going toe-to-toe with Cage, right?
Yeah. And I think that's what's really cool about it is that you have this actor who's maybe a bit past his prime with this other actor who's in his prime, and they're like, it's just a really interesting meta movie. It's hard to talk about because there's so many like layers to it. It's just a lot of fun. So with that, why don't we talk about your relationship to this movie? We saw this together in theaters. What was your first initial reactions to it?
Yeah, we did. I remember I was super excited for it. I feel like at the time I must have been living in Ottawa. So I think I traveled back.
Yeah, you probably were in town to watch this. Yeah. That's really funny.
This is one of the last movies I remember like just howling in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
The LSD scene.
Yep.
I mean, I was like in tears. It's the funniest thing I've seen in theaters as far back as I can remember.
Yeah. That's good. Myself, I agree. I loved this movie when we first saw it. I think it also comes out at a really interesting time too. It comes out in 2022. So we've been starved for movies for a while at this point, pandemic, all that crap. And this comes out and it's action, it's comedy, it's Nick Cage, it's Pedro Pascal. It's like kind of this like convalescence of like great ingredients. And then I just feel like not a lot of people saw it, which I'm disappointed about, you know? Like I wish more people would see this movie because it's super interesting.
On that note, if you're not a Cage fan, a Cageac, a Cageaholic, like
I like that one.
All objectivity is out the window, right? Like, let's be real. We both like Nick Cage, so we really like this movie. If you don't like Nick Cage, yeah, it's a good movie, but like
you're probably not going to enjoy it as much as us.
You're not going to enjoy it as much, right? You're going to watch it once, you're going to think like, oh, it was pretty good, and then you're never going to think about it again.
Exactly. So that leads me to the opening image of this movie. I really love to like look at the first shot of movies when they're super interesting. It's a really hard thing to nail for most movies, but I think this one makes the right choice by it comes up from black and you're just staring at Nick Cage in Con Air and he says, I meant to get a haircut. And that's how we open the movie. Quickly transitions to this young couple who are just watching Con Air, and then eventually the girl gets kidnapped. But what I think this scene does is like it sets a tone. It starts with Con Air, so you know this movie is going to fully lean into the ethos of Nick Cage right off the bat. And two, it's telling you right away that it's more, there's something more to this movie than him just needing to get a job. You know, so I think it's really interesting. What did you think?
Well, I mean, right off the bat, like, it separates whether you do know Cage or not. Because if you've never seen Con Air and you're not a big Cage fan, and you see that image of him in the wife beater with his hair, you're thinking...
He's got the bear in his hand.
It's the bunny.
The bunny, sorry, yes.
You're thinking, like, this is like a movie that they just made in the movie, right? Like, there's no way this is a real image from Con Air. Like, you don't know what Con Air is. You don't know what Cyrus the Virus is. Like, you don't know, right? But for somebody like me, I see that, and I'm like, oh, fuck yeah. Like, this is exactly what I wanted.
Exactly.
Here we go, like... Con Air, baby.
Yeah, it does a nice job of setting the tone of like, yeah, we're going to be very meta, but there's also some substance here. Let's talk about our meeting of Nick Cage for the first time in this movie. We're getting to know the version of himself that Nicolas Cage will be playing. We first kind of see him, he's driving in his sweet classic ride, and he just kind of like yells. He's like, woo! As he's going to meet up with David Gordon Green, who's the director of Pineapple Express and a slew of Halloween movies that I didn't know about, to talk to him about a part in his next movie. Do you think this sequence kind of does a good job of setting up the meta-ness that we're going to get from Nick Cage? Like, there's groveling, he really needs this gig, that sort of thing.
For sure. And I mean, you know me, like I love the studio, I love Entourage, I love this kind of stuff, right? Like this is my bread and butter, you know? Mm-hmm. I think it does a great job, and it pulls me in. Like, I fully believe, you know, like, this is where he is at in his career. This could very well be like a regular occurrence for him, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's really interesting because if you don't know a lot about Nick Cage, which I don't know a lot about his personal life, you think that this is way more truthful than it actually is, just the way they're setting it up. This is also kind of our first introduction to the Nicky persona. What did you think of this version of himself that he talks to? What movie Nick Cage is this to you that he's talking to?
I don't really know, to be honest. But again, this is something that was in the script, and this is not at all what I had envisioned while reading it.
That's so funny.
I don't think he was described as, you know, like a emo slice, like gothic Nick Cage.
So what I get from this is like, I think like this is Gone in 60 Seconds Cage crossed with when he's dressed as the priest in Face Off Cage, like mashed into one cage. And that's who you get here, is this like, this crazy character who like wants him to recapture his glory days.
I mean, it's funny. You're trying to like mash together, you know, different Nick Cages from different movies, but at the same time, I feel like there's a little bit of his own personal wardrobe in this too. Like, he strikes me as a guy who wears a lot of rings, you know, a lot of like peacocking accessories.
Yeah, he loves a little bit of flash.
a little bit of flash and a little bit of flair.
Yeah. After we get introduced to this Nicky persona, we see Cage kind of groveling for a part, basically. What do you think of this sequence?
I got to know, is there any world you see him pulling off a Boston accent?
No, he can barely do the accent in Con Air and like Raising Arizona, and he won an Oscar for that one.
Like, can you see him doing Damon or Leo's part in The Departed?
No,
like how
not a chance.
That movie does not win any Oscars. That movie is a laughing joke if Cage is playing Damon or Leo's role, right?
Completely agree. He can't do boss unless he's like hamming it up here and like which he probably is. He's like doing this very public read right at the valet pickup. Like it's really funny.
So who do we think he loses the role to? Because he doesn't get it, right?
Yeah, it's got to be like a Mark Wahlberg.
I was literally going to say it's Wahlberg.
Yeah, Wahlberg, Affleck, Damon, take your pick.
Yeah.
Casey Affleck, like any of those guys. Like
anybody from Boston.
Yeah. All right, as we move through the first like 20 or 30 minutes of this movie, we're kind of getting introduced to the themes, right? We had the introduction of Nick Cage and his stage of his career. The second part to that is the emotional tension, which is really the strained relationship with his daughter. And this kind of gets introduced to us in this therapy moment where we're uncovering the sort of flaws to this character and the journey that he'll be on. He's very self-centered, always complaining about the state of his career. You know, he's rambling on about how the fans have made fun of him for everything, like taking everything, but he's like, I have to pay bills too. Like I have a job, like that kind of thing. Then we sort of find out that his relationship with and again, this is not his actual family, with his daughter is strained. He's too obsessed with his work. He doesn't see that aspect. His daughter complains that all he wants to do is force her to watch movies and lecture her about them for 2 hours afterwards, which, you know, I kind of find funny. Like that's what I want to do to my partner sometimes. Like, hey, watch this movie and let me tell you how much I love it afterwards.
I feel like there's absolutely truth in that one too, right? Like he pulled that one from real life.
Oh
sure.
yeah, you can tell. Some of my favorite moments of this movie are when Nick Cage is going off about his love for movies, because number one, he's such a film snob. It seems like he loves all of the like art house movies, but the way he talks about them, I just die every time.
The way he talks about them with like such like truth and emotion, there's no way that he doesn't actually feel like that, right? Like he's got to be a movie snob in real life.
Totally agree. Is there anything else in this therapy sequence that was standing out for you?
So not much like in the sequence itself, but it did prompt an idea for me. Hear me out. Imagine this was like a therapy TV show where Nick Cage, every single episode he goes to therapy, and we watch that unfold. So basically he's sitting there and he's like, you know, today I want to talk about my gambling issues. And we get a little flashback and it's like, you know, all of his gambling issues and like, I would watch the shit out of that. So it's like him dealing with various issues discussed during therapy, whether it's substance abuse, whether it's gambling, whether it's like anxiety regarding his career.
Right.
How good would that be? Like, get fucking HBO on the horn right now.
I want more Nick Cage content in general, so I'm all aboard.
Like, give me more meta Nick Cage.
He kind of is at his best when he's being this meta. You know, we'll get to that later because there's a lot to unpack there. Next, we kind of learn our pain point of the movie. What's the problem really that is going to be Nick Cage's like downfall? We learn from his agent, who's played by MPH, that Nick basically owes Sunset Tower $600,000 and other expenses, and that he should really take this gig opportunity that came up for him, which is to go to a fancy millionaire's birthday party out in Spain. Anything that you like in this sequence? For me, they're in this like Roman bathhouse. Like, where is this? What is this place that they're in?
I mean, it's got to be just your average run-of-the-mill Hollywood spa, right?
Yeah, it's got to be, right?
Everything I've read in the news about California, you know, this seems right up their alley.
Yep, definitely. One thing to call out when he brings up Sunset Tower, Nick Cage just says, "They love having me there."
Yeah, that got me too. That was good.
From here, we learn more about Nick's strained relationship with his family, right? So we're going to his daughter's birthday, and this is where things start to pick up a touch. Nick gets the news that he didn't get that deal. And how does he respond to that? He gets absolutely shittered at his daughter's birthday party. This is one of the funnest sequences of the movie for me, because I just don't understand how none of these kids that are also at this birthday party aren't just freaking out that Nick Cage is there. So I want to ask you, Nick Cage comes to your birthday. What do you want him to do for you?
I honestly want him to do exactly this.
That's what
if he gets wasted at my birthday party, then fuck hell yeah. I'm that guy that had Nick Cage wasted at his birthday party.
Yeah, that's exactly what I wrote down. I said the correct answer is interrupt the blowing out of the candles to make it all about him.
Right? I have to think the kids are used to this. Like, this seems like it's been going on for a while, right? You know, because we see the strain that he has with his daughter. I have to imagine this is a regular occurrence for anybody who comes to that house.
Yeah, it's that, or he's constantly sitting them down and like talking to them about the cabinet of Dr. Caligari for 4 hours straight. Overall, this is kind of like the first 15-ish minutes of the movie. What are you thinking of the comedic moments so far? Like, is this style of Nick Cage meta working for you?
Absolutely. Like it does such a good job, you know, setting the tone, letting us know what's happening. And again, like the plot it's there. It's not bad. Like it's fine. It progresses the movie along, but like, let's be real. At the end of the day, it's a vehicle for Cage and Pedro Pascal to shoot the shit, right? So everything that's happening right now, I mean, you could take it or leave it. Like it could be a bunch of scenes just slapped together and I would still enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm not here to be objective.
No, for sure. For me, it is a little light on laughs in the first opening 20 minutes or so, but it does hit the pedal in the middle part there. So we learn after this, Nick Cage lost his part, so he has to basically accept his role to go to Spain for this birthday party, and that's what he does. He tells MPH that he's quitting acting forever, gives this big long speech, and then hops on a plane, basically.
Okay, so I want to pause here because I have a question for you.
Yes.
While he's on the phone talking to MPH says that the birthday appearance was only for $1 million. Too much? Too little? What is your thought there? Is that the right amount for Nicolas Cage to show up?
It seems like the right amount. Like $1 million is still quite a bit of money you're just coming to a birthday party. Like it seems like the right amount to me. What did you think?
At the time, I thought it was appropriate, but then when he gets there, it seems like he's there for a couple days and he's just kind of like enjoying the fucking pool, enjoying the amenities, and I'm kind of thinking, why the fuck did this guy get paid $1 million?
Yeah.
It's like he's like in paradise here. It's like an all-inclusive resort he has to himself.
I'm surprised that he was like against it in the first place. Like once he's there, he's probably like, yeah, this is awesome.
As his agent, NPH did not sell him on this.
For sure. No, he could have done a lot more. So Nick Cage boards a flight, gets to Spain, and we start to unravel this new plot. And it's really the CIA is involved. You know, we get introduced to Ike Barinholtz and Tiffany Haddish's characters, and Tiffany Haddish plans something on Nick Cage to track him. What did you think of Ike Barinholtz and Tiffany Haddish's first appearance here?
I mean, Barinholtz's reaction it's anybody's reaction. Like, holy shit, is that Nicolas Cage?
Yeah. So basically, they were planning to plant something on someone else off the plane, but it was Nick Cage instead. I also love Tiffany Haddish. Ike Barinholtz says something about Lisbon, and she goes, "Fuck Lisbon, man." It's just such a funny reaction. And then they're talking about Croods 2. She asks him if he's ever seen Croods 2, and Ike Barinholtz says, "No, I'm 42 years old. Why would I watch Croods 2?" I was thinking, I'm 33, and I think the Croods movies are pretty good.
I've never seen the Croods movies. Let me be clear, too. Like, anybody could be playing these parts.
Yeah.
But they do a good job.
I like Tiffany Haddish and Ike Barinholtz. Like, last season, we had Bad Trip. I think she was one of the best parts of that movie. And Ike Barinholtz was in Neighbors, another really good supporting role, right? So Act 1 ends basically as Nick Cage meets Javi. Originally, he gets off the boat and just sort of blows Pedro Pascal off. You're not really sure who this guy is. He's like, got to take a call from LA. MPH is talking to him. And then Nick Cage gets a little weirded out. He thinks Javi's going to do some weird shit to him, like ask him to fuck his wife or something like that.
I mean, I feel like that has to happen all the time, right?
To Nick Cage?
I mean, all actors, right?
Yeah,
like,
fair.
you just assume, like, that guy probably wants me to fuck his wife.
Yeah. And so in the midst of telling this guy that he doesn't know is Javi, that he's not going to fuck Javi's wife, Javi tells him, "I'm Javi." And we get one of these great, I don't know, only Nick Cage can do this kind of thing where he sort of high fives his fist into this like rock triangle thing and bows and says, "Nick Cage." And it's just like the best Nick Cage moment ever. Anyone else, I think this is cringe, but coming from Nick Cage, it's perfect.
Again, like, I read the script. I don't remember that in there. Like, 100% he does that on a regular basis and just decided to throw it in the movie for authenticity, right?
Yeah, that's him. So it started making me think, is there anyone else you think can be this meta and pull it off? Like, who else could play a version of themselves and it be funny and work?
Well, I mean, if there's any producers listening to this podcast, it's Adam Sandler, and I have that script waiting for you.
I agree. Yeah, Adam Sandler could probably do it. I mean, he almost kind of does it in, was it Funny People?
Yeah.
Like in a way-ish, you know? I didn't have anyone else in mind because it is such a niche. Like, you have to be in such a certain point of pop culture to be able to do this. Like, you need to have become the meme to be the meme in the movie. Like, you know what I mean? It's so weird to think about.
I think it's definitely easier with a lot of comedic actors, right? Because their personality really shows in their work. So, for example, I think Jack Black would be another.
That's fair. Yeah, I agree. Jack Black would be a good type.
What do you think about Tom Cruise?
If Tom Cruise got on board, yeah, he could do it.
And let me tell you why. I think it's because everybody sees through the bullshit, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That there's no way he could be anybody else other than himself. You know what I mean? It'd almost be like everybody's in on the joke but him.
Yeah. No, Tom, the character's name's not Tom. I promise you. They're just lying to him the whole time.
Like, he'd unironically sprint and everybody would be like, oh yeah, there's the moment. He's sprinting. He's doing the thing.
Yeah. One of the things that I do love about Cage, though, is that, like we talked about it feels very authentic to him, right? And honestly, when you look at his career, one of the interesting parts about him is that no matter the role, he's committing regardless. Whether he can do the accent, he's going to do it. And he always like tries. He's not one of those, he's not a chameleon type actor like Gary Oldman, but he always tries to bring something to the table. He commits, he goes for it. So you can never knock the guy for not trying. Like he's always giving 100% in his movies.
For sure. He's a character actor, but in his head, he's a leading man.
Yeah. He's not even a very good character actor either, though, because he can't do a lot of different characters.
Well, no, he's doing characters, but as Nicolas Cage, right?
Yeah. So let's jump into the bulk of the movie, the middle part, the midsection. This is where things really get going with the exploration of our super rich super fan, Javi. Javi and Nick are working on a movie together. So really, let's start with Javi, played by Pedro Pascal. There's kind of a bit of a quiet stretch here where we're getting to know and build out Javi's character. Specifically, he's written a screenplay for Nick Cage, and he really wants to bring it to him. It builds up this relationship between the two of them. What did you think of these moments?
It's hilarious. Like the way he gets him involved to me it's so funny. And you can see Cage is fighting it at first, but like the method actor in him can't let it go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really great because Javi brings this script to Nick's attention, and he really doesn't want anything to do with it. And then when they go out to the cliffs, Javi acts. He's like, oh, I have to say Gabriella and all this stuff. And then Nick Cage gets into it. And there's a really cool tonal shift in the way the movie, the camera gets in close, it gets dramatic. The lighting kind of changes a little bit. It's super cool. Is there anything else in these opening parts, like say when they go over their favorite movies and stuff like that? Like what else are you enjoying here?
I mean, I don't really want to steer away from the cliffs because I think it's so funny. And I like that the writers used it as a metaphor for the movie actually, taking off.
Yeah.
While also literally taking off by running and jumping off the cliff.
Well, that's it, right? The whole movie is so meta that like Nick and Javi are writing a movie and it becomes the movie that you're watching. Like there's so many like sort of layers to peel back, and it can be confusing if you haven't seen the movie, just hearing people talk about it.
Based on everything that we've collected about Javi up to this point, would you expect his writing to be good? Like, do you think he could actually write a screenplay? And the one that he presented NPH with, like, do you think that's a good screenplay? Or do you think it's just a case of like, here's a guy with a lot of money, he's doing, like a fan service, and obviously fucking NPH isn't going to give to Nick Cage because a good agent never would, right?
Right, yeah. So, I mean, I want to believe that yes, because I see a bit of myself in Javi, where I've watched a lot of movies and think I could write a good screenplay as well, right? Like he has the background of like having watched a lot of good stuff to do it. And there is one really funny, it comes a lot later in the movie, but Nick Cage says to somebody like, yeah, Javi and I are just like working it out. He's a real hardliner for tone. And I think that is the Javi character. He's this guy who loves film, he loves cinema, and he just wants to do a movie with Nick Cage. All right, so after the sort of cliff part, we get this sort of Step Brothers-esque moment where they're not doing karate in the garage, but they're getting drunk together and like having the best time. They're going over their favorite movies. Javi's first one is Face Off, pandering to Nick Cage. Then he says the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, again pandering to Nick Cage. And the last one, Paddington 2. Do you think any of these top three are like truthful to either one of them?
Paddington 2 has to be, just because it has so much buzz around it. I've never seen it because I haven't seen the first Paddington. And then, let's be honest, I'm going to bawl my eyes out if I do watch it. So I'm just going to, put that off for a little longer.
It's on my list to watch, but like, you got to watch Paddington 1 first, right?
I don't know. So do you have to?
It just feels weird to me to just watch the second one and not watch the first one.
That's what I was thinking,
and I don't want to
too.
watch the first one because everyone talks about the second one.
Yeah, right? It's like you have to watch like a 5-hour movie basically to enjoy it.
Exactly. I agree. I think Paddington 2 is probably a little truthful. Like I think Pedro Pascal probably really likes that one.
So I mean, clearly I'm not a cinephile here. Is the second one, what is it? The
Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
Is that a real movie?
It is a real movie from the 20s. When I first searched it, though, I just put Dr. Caligari, and there's another movie from the 80s called Dr. Caligari, which seems to be some sort of like sexy horror movie.
I mean, it's funny because the 20s one could be Cage's because he's a man of authenticity, right?
Yes.
Obviously, he doesn't like the 80s one. But then the 80s one, a sexy horror, that seems right up his alley.
It does seem right up his alley, yeah. I agree. Moving away from this part, Javi goes to bed for the night, and Nick decides to go read his screenplay at the bar. And we get our second viewing of Nikki, who full on makes out with Nick Cage. What did you feel about this part?
What does he say? Nick Cage kisses good?
Yeah, he said, you tell him Nick Cage smooch is good.
Smooch is good. That's good.
He also has like the line before this. He's like,
You're Nick fucking... Whoa, Cage!
anything in this section where we're just getting to know Javi for the first time that we didn't touch on that you want to cover?
They just do such a good job, like broing down. I mean, that's where all the appreciation comes from, right?
Yeah.
And this movie does not work if they do not click the way they do. Like the chemistry is there, and they had me believing that in order for this to work, like Pedro Pascal and Nick Cage must have hung out for like fucking 6 months leading up to production. You know what I mean?
Doing LSD on the weekends together.
Literally, it just seems so natural.
It does.
And this movie falls apart if it doesn't work, right?
No, for sure. If your two main guys don't vibe, then yeah, there's nothing here. It's like you said. This is the Step Brothers moment where they just became best friends, and they do it really, really well. Okay, let's check in with the CIA for a moment. After leaving the hotel, Nick gets kidnapped by the CIA. They inform him that Javi is actually the head of a very violent international arms cartel, and he kidnapped the president's daughter. Nick Cage obviously doesn't want to believe this at all. At first, he's going like, as a thespian, my nouveau shamanic acting ability determined that you have the wrong guy. What do you think of the idea of getting an actor to play a spy? Like to be a spy in real life? Like, do you think it works? Do you think an actor could pull it off in the right circumstances?
I mean, it absolutely depends, right? Because now you're asking me two different things here, right?
So, yeah, kind of.
Because now if I'm watching Ocean's 11 for the like 13th time,
mm-hmm.
I would fully believe that crew could pull a heist.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what I mean? Like if Brad Pitt and George Clooney just wanted to like meet up one day and be like, hey, do you want to like rob a casino? I would believe they could pull it off. So maybe I'm not the right person to ask. I don't know. Matt Damon did so much work doing the Bourne movies.
Yeah.
I have to believe he's Jason Bourne at this point.
That's true. It's like if you put Keanu Reeves in an actual deadly situation, like would his like innate knowledge of John Wick shit just come out and just, he
knows how to fire a gun.
Yeah, it's true.
I would hire Keanu Reeves for a job.
That's true. Yeah. So the CIA basically get Nick to do some sleuthing for them and infiltrate the data room. This is one of my favorite tropes in movies. Like whenever someone needs to find information or like if there's a bad guy involved in any sort of way, they always have a data server room. It's like it's without fail, it's always there.
Well, where else would you put your data servers? Of
That's
course.
True. It's very true. I just love that they're all like, these criminals are so smart, they're just completely off the grid. They have their server bank and you can't enter them. It's a really fun side plot for me. Like it becomes the main story later, but right now it's kind of like a bit of a, hey Nick, maybe watch your back kind of thing, right?
Especially because he's going through the window. Like before you even get to the room, you're like, sorry, did you just think the room was going to be open? Like he's shimmying along a windowsill.
That's right. Yeah. The other great part is too. They ask him to go enter this data room, and he eventually does he get in or does he have to first? No, a guard's coming, and they give him this like really cool secret agent adhesive pad that goes on his hand. And when you touch somebody, it knocks them out in like 25 seconds flat kind of thing.
The incapacitating layer.
Yes, the incapacitating layer. And of course, what does he do? He accidentally wipes it on his forehead.
This is comedic gold because I have to imagine this happens to 9 out of 10 people, right?
Well, yeah, if you're not a CIA trained agent, like
of course you're feeling...
you're a civilian. Like, you don't know.
You're a civilian. You're feeling the pressure. You're feeling the heat. What are you going to do? You're going to, you don't want a Mission Impossible and have, a drop of sweat fuck you up, right?
Yeah, that's true.
You're gonna wipe your forehead. You're gonna dab your head. boom, incapacitating later. Like, it just makes too much sense.
Well, you just got to be able to tell your lefts from your rights. You know, what hand has the incapacitating layer, the left or the right? You know, there's some other funny stuff that happens in here. Nick, as you mentioned, Nick Cage has to go out the window and shimmy along the ledge, all while trying to fight staying awake so he doesn't like pass out from the incapacitating layer. He's about to fall off the ledge, and they just yell, "Wake up, Nick!" And he like comes back to. That was really great. And then he full on passes out in the room. And how do you think you'd wake up a sleeping actor?
I mean, the way they did it. You have to. What does they yell? Action or
it's
cut?
So good. I love that. What this like bit implies too. It implies that Nick is so like invested in his work that his subconscious will wake him from a drug-induced stupor to perform.
It's so funny because I mean, all of this is so obvious and predictable, but like you're just having so much fun that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, like it gives me big like Leo on the Ludes in Wolf of Wall Street. Like I do really love when a main character somewhere gets drugged, they have to race against the clock to do the thing before they pass out, and then they get really groggy. And like I love watching how people portray that because it's always in a different way. Like you had the Leo and Wolf of Wall Street like falling downstairs. This one's got Nick Cage climbing, shimmying across a ledge, right? Afterwards, Nick Cage succeeds, gets the data information he needs, and you know, he could see himself doing more of the spycraft. He thinks he has a real gift for it.
So, I mean, if you're the CIA, do you go back to him after this?
Well, they do. They tell him that they need him to stay on and help with the mission to find the kidnapped girl.
I just mean after this job period. Like, if he wants to be, you know, involved in wet work, do you go back and do you hire Cage,
yeah,
or now is like his cover blown?
I think wet
right?
work is like is above his pay grade for now. Like he's got to work your way up to that. Like he doesn't have a license to kill yet. He's got a license to steal data.
I got you.
But that's about as far.
He's got a license to steal data. He knows server rooms.
Yes, he knows server rooms. Okay. This is kind of the big moment that we've been waiting to talk about. The let's do LSD scene. Javi and Nick, they do LSD together. I'm not always a fan of these kind of sequences because it could get a little old fast, but the way they executed it, like I really, really enjoyed. Like making their trip kind of go hand in hand with this. Now they've decided now to write a movie together instead of Nick doesn't like his screenplay, so they're writing one. The trip goes hand in hand with the movie that they're writing. And this is sort of like the biggest comedic element of the movie. I just want to hear your thoughts on it. What do you got?
It's perfect. I mean, the slow motion like transition of their faces. It's like the elevator scenes in Severance, the way their face just slowly morphs into, just to let you know.
Yeah.
Driving.
The icon. Oh, that's a meme now. Like that's all over social media. Like I still see it where Nick Cage and Pedro, the way Pedro's got this goofy smile, and Nick Cage is just like leering at him with dead eyes.
It makes it so perfect. I mean, I don't know. Between that and then sitting on the bench, like their reaction doing LSD, like have I done LSD? Because that's exactly what I think looking around. Like, yo, are these fucking guys looking at us?
Like how many people in Spain are bald and have red hair? Because those two guys pop up, but it's two different guys later when they find them after climbing the wall. It's
is it not the same
two
guys?
Completely different guys.
I've never gone back to check. That's so funny.
There's also, I guess the acid's still really hitting him, and they're sitting on the stairs, and he's texting the CIA agents, and he says, "Currently on acid, had no choice, otherwise cover blown. Donnie Brasco type situation. BRB."
Do you think he improvised Donnie Brasco?
You just typed it in the phone editor. Yeah,
he was like, Donnie Brasco's who I want to go with.
Yeah, that's my motivation for this scene. Then there's also the turn around and laugh.
Yeah,
he's like, don't look over, don't make it obvious. Maybe do like a chuckle. And the way Pascal, like Pedro Pascal, does it, like it's like a menacing, like jokery type of laugh, and he's holding his knees in this like really weird way, just laughing.
It's so good, man. Like, imagine you're me watching this for the first time. Like, this is his coming out party for me, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, who the fuck is this guy?
He's great. He's fantastic.
It's so good.
Then you get the wall scene. I think I love this as like a gag. Like this has
been done 1,000 times, but it never gets old.
It works because like they spend a lot of time building up the like, oh no, I can't come with you. I can't get over the wall part. And then he's like, go on without me. All that. They spend a lot of time on that part of it. And then Nick Cage drops, gets over it, and Pedro Pascal just walks around the corner. There's no wall after all, kind of thing.
Right. To me, the OG scene is Marge Simpson's becoming a cop.
Yeah.
And she's doing the obstacle course.
Yeah.
And we see her run and jump, and she's trying to climb the wall. And then you pan down, and you see Chief Wiggum, and he's like, oh, the women cops always have a hard time finding the door. And you can't possibly beat that joke, but this comes really close.
So bad.
It's so bad, but this comes close. This is really funny. It works for me.
we end this whole LSD-ridden journey with some memorabilia. Do you want to talk about Pedro Pascal's Nick Cage collection?
Oh my God, The Room?
Yeah, The Room.
I don't even know where to start with The Room. First of all, I want to flip it on you. Is there anything missing
from The Room?
Because what stuck out to me first was, where's the Declaration of Independence?
Yeah, I mean, that's the big one. Because like it either would have been that as the centerpiece, like because the centerpiece is his character from Face Off.
Yeah,
with the golden guns. It's either that or the Declaration of Independence somewhere. I think it would have been cool if they had even just the carrying case that he holds in the whole time.
The like red,
the red leather tube thingy. Is there anything else missing for me from the? I would have to go back.
Way over, you mentioned Sorcerer's Apprentice, like
there's the wig from Sorcerer's Apprentice, just like random things like that.
Actually, would have been a pretty funny scene if, like, later on, for no reason, they're like in the hot tub and like Javi's got the wig on.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Yeah, there's actually something. This is like a side note, but you just popped it into my head. I saw a comment on Reddit that someone wanted more versions of Nick Cage in this. So, if the Nicky character was extrapolated upon, like, what other versions of Nick Cage would you want to see him redoing in this movie? Like all of them, basically. Like give me your top one that you'd want to see him doing.
My immediate reaction was to say Ghost Rider.
Imagine
he's sitting there in the front seat and he's just on fire.
Yeah. That's actually really funny. That'd be a great visual gag. That makes me think too, is like, he just like, does Javi just have the chains, like Ghost Rider's chains?
Yeah.
Like, just...
And even though like nobody likes that movie, you have to think he must have had a blast doing it.
He did two of them. He must have loved it.
He did do two of them, but like just the way the stunt, was he a stunt man in it?
Yeah. Johnny Blaze.
100%.
Is it Johnny Blaze? I think so. I can't remember.
It doesn't matter. 100% Nick Cage sees himself as a stunt man.
He wants to be Evel Knievel.
He wants, yeah. I could see it.
That was his, like, he's like, oh, maybe I can make this a biopic about Evel Knievel instead of this Ghost Rider guy.
No, Nick, we've spent $100 million on the rights to Ghost Rider. It's not an Evel Knievel story.
I love that for him.
Who else do you think could have a room like this, like a fanboy room?
Like an actor? Like if I was a fanboy of somebody?
Yeah, like again, like Sandler's like the obvious one, you know, the hockey stick putter, like the thermos from Hoobie Halloween. Like, is there anybody else you think that could pull off something like this? Where it would make sense?
Like I think like a Tom Cruise room. Like there's probably like all the gadgets from Mission Impossible, masks, different things like that.
Cocktail from
Cocktail. Like there's a shaker,
the
like
jet from Top Gun.
Yeah. You just have an F-16.
It's an airport hangar instead of a room.
Well, it's got to be someone that has like tangible artifacts, really, that you could like hold on to, you know, like.
Okay, so like Harrison Ford.
See, Harrison Ford would be a great one. Harrison Ford's a great example. You have the Indiana Jones whip, like you can have the blaster for Han Solo, all of that stuff, right? Yeah, that's a good one. Let's move on to we're getting towards the end of the movie. Things are taking a turn. Javi brings Nick's family to Spain under the pretense that he's dying. And his daughter wants to know, are you dying, Dad? And Javi says, yes, creatively. And I just love how Javi and Nick are paralleling each other. Like they're the same person at this point. The mom, the eye roll she gives after hearing yes, creatively is like top 10 eye rolls. Like you can feel this woman's disdain for what's happening.
The comedic timing is brilliant.
Then we learn after this that Javi's cousin, Lucas, is actually the head of the crime family and kidnapped that girl. And now Javi has an ultimatum to either kill Nicolas Cage or die. So they go for one last drive out to the cliffs and they trade shoes. What are you feeling here as this movie starts to come to a head where we're getting to the part where things are going to change and it's not going to be sort of this buddy movie anymore?
I mean, let me start by saying the reveal that it was Lucas and not Javi is probably so obvious to everyone.
Yeah.
But despite me always talking about wanting to be a couch detective, I'm actually like really bad at it. I did not see that coming at all. And again, let me remind you, I read the script for this. So like watching it in the movie theater, I was equally shocked.
How do you not see this coming?
I don't know. I should have known because like the blonde hair is such an obvious giveaway.
Well, yeah, that's it. Like anyone that has blonde hair and tattoos is usually a villain.
I don't know, man. I don't know what you want me to say. I'm not good at it. But again, like I think it just speaks to how much fun I was having that instead of trying to solve it and piece it together, I'm just letting the movie, you know, just have its way with me.
Exactly. Yeah. It's such an easygoing movie for the first 40 or how long is it? This movie's an hour 45. So it's like for the first hour and 15 minutes. It's an easygoing movie. It's light. There's a lot of fun happening. But yeah, there's this tonal shift that we're about to hit. And, you know, Javi and Nick, they trade shoes. They kind of realize that, like, hey, our friendship might not survive this next couple of like hours. Like, this is really awkward. So they wanted, like, it's like trading the game jersey with each other. Like, they want something to remember each other by, right? And then at the cliff, they have a standoff where Nick pulls his golden guns on Javi. And then Lucas's men show up and everything fucking turns into a goddamn firefight.
I like that. We're obviously not the only ones who pick up on the chemistry. Obviously, Lucas did too, because he sent his men there knowing they wouldn't kill each other.
Yeah, exactly. There's a really great part where they're hiding from fire and they're trying to come up with a plan. And Javi says, you go out there, you run out there, and you get the Jeep and you come back and pick me up. And then he's like, no, you go. You're faster. He's like, that's not true. I saw you in National Treasure, the making of featurette. And Nick Cage is like, damn it, you got me.
So good. He does a lot of running in that movie.
He does, yeah. It's funny too, because then Nick's like, all right, I'm gonna go. And then Javi's he's like, I'm coming with you. Like the way that he's like, I'm not gonna let you do it alone. Like we're boys now. It's really fun. And then after they get in the Jeep, there's another really funny gag here, where the men are they on motorcycles? Yeah, they're on motorcycles chasing them, and he says, hit the brakes. He'll just run in the back. And Nick Cage is like, that's not gonna work. He does it, and then the guy hits the Jeep, falls into the Jeep. He's like, look, he's just passed out. Nope. The guy punches Javi right in the face. Nick Cage decks him with his helmet. I don't know how he got his helmet off him so fast, but
it doesn't matter. And again, how many times have we seen this happen before in movies? It's still funny though.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. Ultimately, they go and grab Nick's family and go to Javi's safe house. Turns out Lucas has taken Nick Cage's daughter. They need to formulate a plan to get her back. Let's take a short break, and then we'll knock out the ending of this one, move on to funniest scenes, do MVC, head-to-head, and writer's room.
Hey, TFME listeners. You can find us every Wednesday on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you're enjoying the episode, don't forget to hit subscribe and drop us 5 stars. Instagram and Letterboxd links are in the episode's description.
And we're back. We're entering the end game of the movie. All hell is broken loose. We're in full-on spy actioner territory from here on out. I want to talk about a good trope that I love in movies. And to me, it's really cool when people go under disguise. I'm a big fan of it. I love it in the Mission Impossible movies. I love seeing when movies like will take a trope and like twist it. This one doesn't do that. It just fucking right over the plate with a great little Mission Impossible plan where Nick Cage goes undercover as Sergio Baldessari, the head of the Calabero crime family.
Is there any mention at all prior to this that the wife used to be like a makeup artist? Or do they just like, they're just like, oh, fuck it, let's just make her a makeup artist and it'll work?
I can't remember, but it's a really good, like, I love that Javi knows that. He's like, oh, you used to be a fantastic makeup artist with a little bit of this, that, the other thing, you know, it'll work. My thing about this part, though, is like,
the makeup's not good.
No, I mean, it's sure, whatever. Like, the mask and disguise aside, fine. I love Javi's reasoning for doing it. He says, no one's seen him in 15 years. Is that long enough for people to forget what someone looks like? Like, it seems way too short of time.
Especially if this guy is like also like a very well-known, like infamous international crime lord.
Yeah, like, what? It's
like if you just type in like FBI.com, like his picture probably pops up.
Yeah, no kidding. So somehow this farce works. Sergio and who does he say his wife is? Because she goes with him into the compound. They get right in. At first, Lucas is like trying to cut his ear off because Sergio did something to his family or something back in the day. I can't really remember. But his wife just fucking yells at him and like puts Lucas in his place.
I love when they do that, when they do the little swap where like the wife has no experience. Like she's not an actress or anything, but she's a fucking badass.
Yeah, exactly. It's really good. Ultimately, they find out where the kidnapped girls are being kept, and things get a little dicey here, you know? Like Nick's disguise fails. He has to think on his feet. He monologues using the read from the very beginning of the movie. How did you feel about this coming full circle?
I fully thought this was going to be the impression you were going to make me do.
No impressions today.
Which would have been so good.
Yeah.
You know me. I love a good bookend.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this is. It's perfect.
Yeah. I love it because it's Lucas is just like, what the heck are you talking about? Like, who's this guy from Boston? All of a sudden. And it gives Nick just enough time to like, you know, free himself and pull some John Wick stuff off and get out of there.
Can we pause on that? Because does he even attempt to do the Boston accent in the moment?
I can't remember. I know he's just full on going for it. His like his prosthetics falling off, his mustache is like half hanging off his face. Yeah, it's really great. They then head into a classic chase sequence as they're heading for the U.S. Embassy, and Javi decides this is the time for him to take a stand against his cousin with the golden guns. I love this. I love a good, like, you know, I got to redeem myself kind of part of the movie, and the way that he's just standing there with his with Gabriella, and they're shooting down the cartel. It's great. What did you enjoy the chase here?
Chase is great. The ending is great. It's all so predictable, but it doesn't matter. Like the way it transitions to the movie they're watching in theaters, it's just like chef's kiss, you know, no notes. It's all paint by numbers. It's all so predictable. But you know what? Like sometimes it just works.
Oh yeah, I agree. We get the classic Austin Powers 3 moment here, where like instead of it being Austin skydiving turning into Tom Cruise, it's Nick Cage catches a knife, stabs Lucas, and transition to the movie that Javi and Nick wrote. I'm like you. I'm a big sucker for this kind of thing. I love when this sort of meta thing happens and the transition works so well, the knife catch, everything like that, and then you see who's like playing his family. It's like, who is it? Is it Demi Moore? Is playing the wife? It's stuff like that. It's really funny.
And it's like, look, I'm not excusing it because it's like, I don't know. Is it lazy writing? Is it lazy writing if it just fucking works?
I don't think it is, because you have to end this movie somehow, and we've set up that the goal is that Javi wants Cage to star in his movie, and then they decide, hey, let's actually just write a screenplay together. So it's interesting that the movie you're watching is the movie they wrote, kind of thing.
It's like they keep going back to the well for more tropes, and I don't care. Like I eat it up. It's like, give me the slop. I don't care.
Yeah, it's one thing if you're doing tropes to just like for the sake of it. It's another thing when you're doing it to like, you know, really not add to the movie, but like keep it moving forward, and you're executing on it well. Like you're not doing it sloppily. Like you're using it for comedic elements, or you're doing it to build character. It works.
And like there's no wink about it. It's not like you know, the way Marvel winks at you with their jokes and shit. It's like, look, we know what we're doing, but we also know that it works and that it's simple and that you're not here for the plot or the story, right?
Yeah, you're here for the Nick Cage jokes. You're here for the Nick Cage meta-ness. Let's wrap things up. Nick leaves the premiere. Rather than go out with Javi and go to all the after parties, he leaves with his family. They go home. They watch Paddington 2 together while his wife falls asleep, and he watches it with his daughter. Closing thoughts of this movie in general?
I mean, again, just like no notes. Plot is simple. If you didn't enjoy, you know, Cage and Pedro Pascal like having a blast, then I mean, obviously this movie's not for you. You probably shouldn't have watched it to begin with. Like it's very evident by the poster that it's going to be all about
ridiculous.
Nicolas Cage. I have a question for you though.
Yes.
We've talked a lot about the chemistry between Cage and Pascal here. Where do they rank for you in terms of buddy movie duos?
Right.
So like, for example, you know, you have your Rogen, your Franco, and Pineapple Express, your Farrell and Wahlberg and the other guys, Sandler and Kevin James in Anything.
Fair enough. I think you're kind of hamstringing this movie a little bit by putting it up against some of those like pure comedies, because this movie's not a pure comedy. It's not a big laughs per second, but their chemistry though does rival that of those.
And that's
those
what I'm
ones
saying.
You say,
it's not even about the movie. It's just, again, like those two, right?
Yeah.
So like, for example, if you took out Franco and Rogen in Pineapple Express and you put in Pedro Pascal and Nicolas Cage.
Like I don't think they're right for that kind of movie.
I still think they could do it.
I think they could do it. I agree with you. I think they could do it. I don't think that's the next buddy movie I want to see them in, right? I was actually going to ask you, having seen this movie and the meta nature of it, do you think it would take away from any potential partnerships in the future? Like, would it detract? Like, would you be able to watch a movie where they're actually both playing characters rather than Nick's playing himself and Pedro's playing?
So like, say they both got cast in like an Oscar bait drama.
Not even an Oscar bait drama. They just got both cast in, say, this fun buddy action movie or buddy cop movie together.
I don't know. That's a good question. I actually think that it would detract from it for me.
I think so.
I feel like I wouldn't be able to take them as seriously, or at least it would take a while for me to get over that hump.
Yeah, I think if they were ever to team up again, it would have to be like a Javi and quote unquote Nick Cage kind of thing, you know, where he's playing this dramatized version of himself. I think that would be the, I don't know, what would you call that? The NCU, the Nick Cage universe. Like,
I would watch that for sure. Yeah. Imagine a sequel where, like, say, you know, Javi makes it as a big screenwriter and he doesn't need Cage anymore. We got a little falling out.
Oh, yeah.
I love when that happens. When a wedge is driven between the two, and it's, you know, the whole movie's kind of about them making up.
I would watch more Javi in Nick Cage movies. You know, I would watch like if it's within that universe. You know,
sure.
I don't like I said before. I think it would detract if they were just randomly cast in some other movie as different characters.
I mean, think about how many Takens we've gotten where it's just like the same like distant relative of whoever Liam Neeson beat up in the first one keeps coming back for revenge. How is that any different than, you know, what we would do with this, right? There's going to be a million Lucases out there. Maybe the real Sergio is, you know, looking for blood. Nobody impersonates him.
That's really fun. Like I would love, like the second one is the wedge is driven between Javi and Nick, and then Nick has to save Javi because the real Sergio's back.
Boom. Hollywood, give us a call.
Yeah. We're waiting to write that one. Okay. Hit me with your top scenes.
I mean, honestly, like we covered so much of it because this whole movie is one giant hilarious scene, right?
Right.
The LSD, obviously. A small one, and you already mentioned it, but he returns back to the well for this. Just him saying, my shamanic instincts as a thespian.
Yeah. Shamanic nouveau.
Sorry. Like he must have written that, right?
Did he? You read the script. You should be able to tell us.
I got to revisit it. I bet you I still have it on my computer from like 2019.
Probably. I totally agree with those two scenes though. Like they're really great. Yeah, I had that, and also anything with Haddish and Barinholtz just had me laughing. I really like them as like just, you know, character bit actors. They play really funny agents in this one where they're just like what the fuck.
There's another good quote too that you actually did miss that I'm going to start using in everyday real life. When Javi's convincing Cage to come out of retirement at the cliffs, and Cage turns on the juice and just says, "You're in an untenable situation." An untenable situation.
You kind of the read there gave me Liam Neeson vibes that you just gave there. I love that. I also had Nick singing at the birthday party. I thought that was really great. Just him going at it on the keys.
Is it just me, or like is he really perfect for a TV show?
I could see him in a TV show.
I bet he's one of those guys who thinks like he's a movie star. He's not going to do
above
TV. Yeah, right. Yeah. But like an HBO meta series about Nicolas Cage would be fucking great. Whether it's him doing therapy, him like just him doing mundane shit.
Yeah, I agree. I would watch it.
Like
it would
one
be fun.
episode, just like
he's just going to get groceries one day. Like, how does Nick Cage get groceries? It's probably really funny.
Or maybe his agent's like, "Oh, Nick, like I have a good read for you," and he's like, "I can't. I got to go to this auction. There's a really good dinosaur skull there that I want to buy." Right? Like.
I can't. I'm in the midst of stealing the decoration. Okay, let's move on to MVC. This one's kind of a hard one. Who do you give it to in this kind of movie where there's not really a standout comedian star per se? Like, you know, we're not used to seeing Pedro and Nick Cage in comedy movies. Is it one of those two, or is it the writers really that came up with this fucking brilliant idea?
That's a good point. I never really thought of that. And you know, I gave you a lot of shit last episode for picking Carell because I didn't like, it seems like a cop-out, like, oh, you know, the movie doesn't work unless Carell's like selling it as himself. But to me, that doesn't mean he's necessarily funny.
Yeah.
This time around, I'm going to pick Cage.
Right.
And yes, the movie doesn't work without him selling it as himself, but it doesn't take away from the funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he's still hilarious in this.
There's a level of commitment that he gives, like I said earlier, to every movie that makes this thing better than, like, this could have been a fucking tragedy. This could have been a wreck. I think it's the way that he's so authentic that makes it work so well.
Right? And it's not even just him playing himself. I mean, like, would you call him, like, his fantasy imaginary version of himself?
Oh, it's Nicky.
Nicky. Like, Nicky's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it's a great. I wish that that they did include different versions of Nick Cage. Like that every time he saw it, it was like a different past version of himself. Like that was a comment I saw on Reddit, and I really thought that was a great idea.
For sure, right? I mean, Nicolas Cage smooch is good. Like this is fucking hilarious.
Tell him Nick Cage smooch is good. Okay, let's move on to Head to Head. This movie comes out in 2022. Lots of action comedies that year, so I'm going to give you a couple, and then we'll move into like some regular comedies. What about Bullet Train? Do you think this movie is better than Bullet Train?
Do I think it's better? No. But do I think it's funnier? Yeah, I do.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. Because Bullet Train is like, it leans more action than comedy. This one leans more comedy than action.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I love Brad Pitt. Like when he decides to be a character actor in these kind of movies, like it's perfect.
Yeah.
Like
I think he could do a meta movie.
Yeah, I could see that.
Like kind of like in this, I know you don't like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but like the character he's playing in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I could see that as like a meta Brad Pitt character.
And see, that's like my only reservation with that is I don't know celebrity Brad Pitt. Like, I know movie star Brad Pitt. I know the roles he takes and I know what he's like in those, but I don't know anything about him in real life. Whereas with Nicolas Cage, I think it works because we know he's kind of a weirdo in real life.
Yeah, I mean, I totally get what you're saying, but I don't know much of anything about Nick Cage's personal life, like, at all. I know, like, he's been in the media about certain things before, but this movie, even the writers have said that, like, they base it off of his movie persona. Like, it's based off of, like, his persona in Hollywood, right? And I think that would work for Brad Pitt. Next movie, The Lost City. Did you see that one?
Is this the Channing Tatum one?
Yeah.
I did. Brad Pitt's in that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That one's pretty good. I don't think it's as good as this, and I don't think it's as funny either, but still a good movie.
I remember really enjoying that one and laughing a lot during it because it's also Sandra Bullock, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good one.
She's funny. She should do more comedies.
I agree. I think everyone should do more comedies. Let's get into some comedies that came out in 2022. We had Meet Cute. Did you see that one? What's his face?
Pete Davidson?
Yeah, Pete Davidson.
Yeah, I did. That movie's fucking horrible.
Okay, I didn't see it, so I'm glad you did. Jackass Forever.
Ooh.
It's kind of tough. It's like...
We've had this discussion before where we don't really know what to do with the Jackass movies. I'm going to say, like, that movie's funnier just because I've seen it. I've laughed way harder at that.
Yeah.
But again, I feel like that's like...
It's kind of not fair.
It's not fair.
Yeah. Clerks 3.
I don't think I've seen Clerks 3.
I haven't seen it either. I was hoping you did. Bros.
I have seen Bros. The movie's like, it's okay. It's not funnier than this.
Okay. Now let's talk some more like meta movies like this where people are playing themselves. I couldn't think of a lot, so if you have any ideas off the top of your head, let me know. What about This Is the End?
That is a good meta movie. Yeah. Everybody's kind of just playing an exaggerated version of themselves. Oh, that's tough. I do love This Is the End, but I also love Nicolas Cage.
This is a real struggle for you.
I'm going to have to give it to This Is the End. And I honestly think it just comes down to, like, there's more comedic star power, right?
Yeah, that's
like, Danny
fair.
McBride fucking steals the show in
Danny
that movie.
McBride might be the funniest person in Hollywood. Like, it's a shame that I never watch his shows, but I really need to because, like, every time I watch him, I die. He has a direct line to my funny bone. It's something else. The next one that I have, it's not exactly actors playing themselves, but the movie itself is meta. Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. So, like, Jay and Silent Bob are trying to stop the production of a Jay and Silent Bob movie. So that's kind of the meta-ness.
If you asked me this when I was like 12 or 13, I would have said it's absolutely that movie.
Schnooby Doobies.
I can't remember the last time I went back and watched it, but it was like fairly recently. I'll have to check my letterbox. It's definitely not funnier than this movie now. Again, if you asked me like 15 years ago, yeah, 100%.
It's probably also like a really hard, outdated rewatch, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Last, we'll end this head to head with another Nick Cage comedy that I haven't seen. I'm hoping you have. Renfield.
I got about 5 minutes into Renfield and I had to turn it off. It has nothing to do with the quality. I'm just not good at gore. And there's a lot of unnecessary gore. Like, I don't know whether it's played for humor or it's just, that's like the genre of it. Like,
yeah, because it's horror comedy.
Gory horror. Yeah, right. So I can't really answer that one.
That's fair. Okay, we're going to wrap things up with our Writer's Room segment. Rip, do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
I do not want to go first.
Okay, I will go first. Last week, Rip gave me the actor Justice Smith, the genre fantasy comedy, and our thing was a heaven versus hell story. So I have this idea where Justice Smith plays Neil. He's the third son of the devil. He has two brothers. One's name is Adrius and Cassidon, who plot to take the evil throne from their dad. I can see the look you're giving me right now. What's wrong?
You're trying to fucking Phantom Thread me.
I am.
This is Little Nicky.
Yeah, it is Little Nicky. All right. Okay. I actually wrote a real one. The real one is a period piece. It's set in late Roman Empire as Catholicism and Christianity are taking off.
Is this Phantom Thread again?
Yes. Yes, it is. God damn it. All right. So set in Roman Empire, Catholicism, Christianity taking off. You know, it's the early days of the religion, so things are in flux. Lots of rule changes happening and going on. Think of this as like a Monty Python-esque type movie. You know, specifically the part where the peasant is calling out why feudalism is awful for the working class, and then he gets taken away by the guards. Think that kind of vibe. Justice Smith plays a craftsman who dies and goes to hell. In hell, he learns that the rule that sent him there in the first place got changed. So really, he should have gone to heaven. That's right. This movie's pulling a Ted 2 and becoming a courtroom drama set in hell. So Justice Smith is going to appeal to the heavens, and they send him an angel lawyer to argue his case to Lucifer to let him out of hell.
This is actually really funny. Honestly, this is super creative. I'm really impressed.
I don't have any other bits or anything like that, but that's the plot line.
Good for you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, what do you got for me this week?
So you gave me Russell Crowe, sports comedy, and Russell Crowe is mute.
I forgot that.
Yeah. Except everybody wants to watch a silent movie. So Russell Crowe, named Gambit, is
named Gambit?
He's named Gambit.
I like that.
Yeah. He's a famous retired coach now operating his own personal training facility. He's a no-nonsense kind of coach. You know, he screams, he throws chairs. One time he personally tackled a streaker. I like a bit here just right off the bat that we don't actually know what sport he coached. It's like a bit in that people are always kind of congratulating him and like reminiscing about, you know, that shot or that catch or like, oh, what a punch. You know, like it's always different just to keep you guessing. So one day he's training a group at his facility, and as he goes to sip his coffee, somebody wipes out, crashing into Crow. He's forced to ingest the largest gulp of the hottest coffee ever, thus frying his vocal cords, because I definitely checked that, and that's totally possible.
That would suck.
I'm like such a sucker for just like a lazy inciting incident. Like, you know what I mean? Nothing sparks this other than just somebody wiping out and you just happen to have a hot coffee.
You never know what's going to happen.
It doesn't matter because it's a comedy, right?
That's life too. That's life. Anything can happen.
Yeah, it's true, right? So losing his mojo with his voice, he sets off on an adventure of self-discovery, trying various silent sports, which I didn't realize is a thing. If you Google silent sports, a list of things come up.
Like what?
Well, let me tell you.
Silent hockey.
He's out there looking for something that feels right, something to spend his time doing while feeling accomplished. So, some silent sports for you. He tries hiking, but he hates the bugs. He tries swimming, but everybody at the open swim is old. He tries yoga, but steps outside in the pants and immediately feels wrong.
I like that. That's a funny bit.
He tries to ride a bike, but the chain immediately falls off. So finally, on his walk home, because he can't ride his bike, because Russell Crowe doesn't know how to change a chain.
Okay.
He's a celebrity bigwig. Why would he know, right?
I feel like it's something everybody knows. It's kind of not hard.
I don't think I could change a chain nowadays.
You don't think just looking at it, you could figure it out?
No.
I think you're underestimating your abilities.
Do you think so?
Yeah,
I
because
remember as a kid, I was like
look
the
at
only
it.
kid who
It's
could
like,
never do
you
it.
just do this.
You know, I'd try, my hands would get all like oily and shit, and then it just went. Anyway.
Sorry.
A group of people are playing chess in the park, and he sees them. Here we go.
Ooh.
Chess.
Yeah.
Yep. So I want all the bits to basically just revolve around how big and a massive jock Russell Crowe is compared to the world of smaller nerds playing chess.
Yeah, that's really funny.
We're just fully going to lean into the stereotypes, right? So like the first time he plays, and I don't know what that timer does, but he fucking smacks it because he sees
He
other
just like
people doing
destroys it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he just like an alarm clock in a Bugs Bunny like skit.
Yeah.
Flips the board, of course. A really over-the-top reaction since he can't speak when being told about the guy who cheated in the championship because his butthole or something. Do you remember that?
Our one friend vaguely told us about this, right?
Anyway, so someone's telling him the story, and he can't react with words because he's mute apparently because of the coffee. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes.
Yeah, so his face. Just,
right, yeah, a lot of face acting going on.
Right, a lot of face acting, yeah. And then, of course, because his name is Gambit, everyone asks him if he's seen the Queen's Gambit. He doesn't know what the fuck that is. People keep asking me that. I don't know what it is, but he can't say that, right? So his eyes are saying that to you.
Right. So he doesn't have, like, say, a chalkboard that he brings around, scribbles words on that he wants people to know what he's saying or anything like or you know,
I don't think
a
he wants
coach's pad, you know, like one of those clipboards.
I feel like maybe that's like something as he would become more like comfortable with, he would use. But I think at first he doesn't want to be seen as vulnerable, you know?
Here's a bit. Maybe someone's like, oh yeah, you can like write your words on your clipboard. And every time he does, he can't do it because every time he does, he just makes plays.
I mean, the first time he does it, obviously he's going to be like, oh yeah, you know, finger goes up 1 sec. And then he writes, you know, like, fuck you.
Yeah.
It writes itself. This is like
I love that. This is a
$10
great
million movie that
this
makes
is fantastic.
$10 million.
Yeah, it makes money, maybe.
If Russell Crowe decides to do it for free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I like that. Awesome. Well done. Do you want to tell everybody what we're covering next week?
Yeah, so we're going to kick off our sequels category with American Pie 2.
Thanks for listening. You can find us every Wednesday on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to check us out on Instagram and Letterboxd. The links are in the show notes.